There's a real question raised by this investigation about whether you and the Department of Justice intended to bypass the Senate's role in confirming the U.S. attorneys. It relates to the law that Senator Feinstein passed and all but two of us in the Senate voted for. And equally troubling, as I mentioned, is a real question about whether you were honest with the members of Congress about your intent. And this is a serious matter.
I agree, Senator.
So to emphasize how serious, I want to read to you what Senator Pryor had to say on the floor of the Senate about his interactions with you.
Can I see his transcript?
Yes, but I'll read it. It's very clear, and I'm sure you know it. His searing words, as you will hear.
I would like to see it.
We'll get it to you. As everyone here knows, Senator Pryor is one of the most temperate members of the Senate. He's mild-mannered, and his words are all the more striking for that reason. He said, quote, "The Attorney General not only lied to me as a person, but when he lied to me, he lied to the Senate, and he lied to the people I represent. I spoke to Senator Pryor yesterday. He stands by those words." Now, Kyle Sampson wrote that to Harriet Miers last September. That's what he wrote. He wrote that they wanted to do this plan of getting around the Senate and appointing interim U.S. attorneys. And he also told Congress that the White House never rejected the idea of evading the Senate confirmation in the Eastern District of Arkansas. According to Kyle Sampson, you became aware of this idea or plan in early December of 2006. He told you about it. You did not reject it. Then on December 19th, Kyle Sampson is promoting this astonishingly perverse plan. He's going forward with it. And this poster, which we have here, and I'll get you a copy of what it says, shows it. Sampson's advice to the White House is, quote, we, meaning the department, should gum this to death to run out the clock. He lays out a specific plan for running out the clock. The Department of Justice should ask Arkansas senators to meet Tim Griffin, give him a chance. After that, the administration should pledge to desire a Senate-confirmed U.S. attorney and so forth. The plan was to use these tactics to delay so Griffin could stay in without Senate confirmation until the end of the president's term. But now, 4 days before Kyle Sampson sends that plan, you personally talked with Senator Pryor. Kyle Sampson testifies that he was in the room. You talked to him twice. He was in the room on one of those occasions about Tim Griffin. Kyle Sampson says you talked with Senator Pryor 2 times. He was in the room, and you said to Senator Pryor that you wanted to go through a Senate confirmation. This is in December. Mm-hmm. Well, what would you think if you're in Senator Pryor's shoes? There's a plan to circumvent U.S. attorneys early in December. You go along with that. On December 19th, a memo was sent to implement it. Yet on December 15th, you're on the phone with Senator Pryor saying, oh, no, you're going to get confirmation. So which is it? Again, did Kyle Sampson put out this memo completely on his own? Senator, and if he did, I mean, you can't have it both ways. If your chief of staff is implementing a major plan that contradicts what you just told a U.S. senator from that state, in my view, you shouldn't be Attorney General. And if, on the other hand, what you said to Senator Pryor contradicts the plan, you also shouldn't be Attorney General. Can you explain what happened here? Because yes. I am totally sympathetic with what Senator Pryor said.
Mr. Sampson also testified 15 to 20 times in various ways that I either rejected this plan, I never liked this plan, thought it was a bad idea, never considered it, would not have considered it.
No, he said that you did know about it. He told you about it,
Senator,
and you didn't reject it. 15 to 20
times, he said I either rejected it, didn't like it, thought it was a bad idea, wouldn't consider it, didn't consider it.
Okay, then he went ahead when you didn't like the plan on December 19th.
Senator,
that was later that you didn't like the plan. Kyle Sampson said in December you had no rejection of the plan, but let's even assume you didn't like it. What are we to think as U.S. senators? You don't like a plan, your chief of staff, the man in charge of everything, even though you are saying don't do this plan, puts out something to go ahead and go forward. Who's running the department?
Senator, I wasn't aware of this email, but again, I want to be very, very clear about this. I never liked this plan.
You never liked the plan, and your chief of staff, 4 days after you assure Senator Pryor otherwise, puts out a detailed step-by-step process on how to implement the plan. Does that indicate someone who's running the department?
Senator, Mr. Sampson has testified this was a bad idea, and it was a bad idea. And it was never accepted, not only by me, but he also testified as to the principles.
Mr. Sampson said it was a bad idea in retrospect in February and March. In December, he was going full bore ahead with the plan, as the memo you've just been shown shows.
Senator, and he's also testified, if we're going to go on his testimony, that this was a plan I never liked, that I rejected it.
No, that is not what he testified to, sir. Go look at the transcript. In December, he says you did not reject the plan when he talked to you about it.
Sir, I don't recall the exact time frame, but he also said that I never liked this idea. I didn't consider it and wouldn't consider it.
Gentlemen.
I would just say, sir, that it defies credulity that your chief of staff, 4 days after you tell somebody you're going one way, goes exactly the opposite way and says that you never rejected the plan when you say you did. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Obviously, though, you accepted the use of the provision in the Patriot Act to replace a number of senators, and now in probably the strongest bipartisan vote I've seen in the Senate in years, we voted to remove that from the Patriot Act.
Senator, if you look at the record, the reauthorization of the Patriot Act was March 9th. I mean, the administration has nominated to virtually all of these vacancies. We are pursuing and have been pursuing and respecting the role of the Senate. And I take issue with Senator Schumer's characterization.
We will go back to that, and we have been, Senator Graham has been waiting patiently, but I